May 27th, 2024. Yesterday, that lady in Myers on North Main took care of a lot. Well, before that, what is that? Fresh Time across from Target in Belden. I had walked out and some lady drove by and said, I heard this whole thing's a big drug scam. Nobody say a word. Okay. Take my client, we go up to Myers in North Canton. And there's a lot of people in there. And some lady by the dairy aisle, she's talking to someone. I talked to the police that watch her. They said it's ridiculous for anybody to ever insult her. She almost died to save children. Must have been Officer John, because he yelled it out in Walmart 62 in January 19. It's ridiculous for any child to be afraid of Karen. She's nothing but good enough. Oh, it would always bring 30, 40 men when the cartel was here. He's one of my officers. Air hug. Well, that lady even said yesterday, I talked to those police that watch her, and they worked the case. They said it's ridiculous for anybody to ever insult her. She almost died to save children. And they already knew their whole backup plan with those stalking tapes, if she didn't die, trying to extort money and things out of her. They already knew it was photoshopped of washing in the other room. And they had drugged her and told her to say it before. They already knew it. And it was their backup plan, if she didn't die, to try to extort money. I go to leave with my client. Some guy walked out. I heard what that lady said, what the police had told her. She almost died to save children, and they knew this was a whole scam to extort money out of her. And he's going back over they knew they drugged her and told her to say it. They knew they photoshopped washing to extort money out of her. She didn't die. Nobody better say a word. Oh, it got a lot better. As a victim, I'd like to know how you could participate in this. Waco should have happened here. Waco should have happened. The police, the marshals, and the FBI should have surrounded every apostolic church, and anybody involved should have been arrested for selling kiddie porn of my grandkids going to the bathroom, taping me and naked in bed with Dave, and sex trafficking videos of me on the internet and me showering in the bathroom, and then a sextortion act of photoshopping them washing. They all should have been arrested. Let alone breaking in and drugging me and telling me to say stuff, leaving me bruised orange, lemon, grapefruit sizes. And because the well water was so dirty washing in it, I thought my personal area had swelled up 3 times larger. Could hardly pee. Here they're having me raped and human trafficked under drugs. The apostolic churches hired the drug cartel. The human traffickers. Human traffickers mean they are child molesters and serial killers. They sell women and children for sex slaves and to be murdered. They hired child molesters and serial killers. They were selling women and children for sex slaves and murder to run a scam. Now, and that agent didn't arrest him. Under any reason can anybody do those crimes? No, and not go to jail. It's absurd and mind-boggling. We live in the United States of America. Nobody can get away with this. The thought that agent didn't nail them to their desk for their confession to a federal police officer, but made fun of the victim being scammed. And then when you find out they were doing all this for Savannah, a rich, entitled bitch. Her mom's an RN nurse, makes $160,000. Her dad was an electrician, made at least that, if not more. Come from a household of over $300,000 a year. She's an RN nurse, married to a successful guy now too. The rich, making more money. Her father owned an electrical company, had men working under him. That came from money. They are the wealthy people, extorting money out of poor people and victimizing them. Because she had some big drug dealer's baby a long time ago. So the drug cartel helped out. And when you find out it's for Savannah, see, I have a client that used to live out in North Canton. Across the street, there would always be people saying stuff. They said, you know, that Chris and his gang said not to say a word. They thought because she had a baby, she was poor, so they were helping steal money for her. And they found out how much money that family had. They all could go to jail for this, and they had tons of money. They didn't realize how wealthy they were. Well, the Chris and his gang no longer around me when they found out how rich Pam and Jack were. And that Savannah makes at least $160,000 a year now. 100 to 160. Being an RN nurse. Huh? And hard telling what her husband makes. Just because she fucked a big drug dealer a long time ago, had his kid. The cartel ran with the scam. A lot of people died. Were sold as sex slaves, murdered. Some were released. Oh, because of that fucking bitch. She ain't even that pretty. She's pretty, but she's nothing to write home to. Just a spoiled 18-year-old brat that thinks because she's a little mafia bitch, she can just snap her fingers. Like she said at Faith Family Church, will those guys drug beat and rape somebody for us? Oh, I just have to ask them. Quite dangerous, isn't she? Psycho. See, that's where some guy showed up. My client was in this one hotel. He had got displaced out of his apartment. And this guy, I know his voice from in case he comes in, I didn't see him. He said, Savannah, of all things. They were doing all this for Savannah. Then he made a weird comment. He said, they said that she had been insulting their women. See, that's what see, when where I called the FBI hotline, then the next day I couldn't wake up because they had drugged me up so bad and I had tears running my face and I kept saying I can't. Phone's ringing, letting it go to voicemail. The next day I'm not much better. You know, I got up and listened to the voicemail. I even had to hold on to the walls to walk. They had me so drugged I kept thinking, what's wrong with me? That well water washing it is it kill me. No, they're drug beating, raping me. Doctor's not even thinking of sexual predators. Okay, so third day I made myself get up and I'm getting enough air in my face and I feel drunk but I don't drink. And it's a sign of a roofie wearing off. It makes you sick. So I got enough air in my face, thought of Sarah, one of my witnesses, where Katie was breaking in the wall to 3 people who had been her church trying to kill me with 4 attempts. They all should have been arrested. They had them. They fucking had them the first day. Fucking had them. I call Sarah, make sure she'll witness for me. She said, of course, Karen, it's getting darker and scary the way she's talking about it. So I go out and get a card, put that agent's number in it from the voicemail, make an excuse to go down to the mall, dropped it off with her manager. She put it in her locker. We went up to Apostolic Church of Barberton. Paul Pamer got into Dave's face. My God, I had an FBI agent in my office. He's right there. I walk off. How dare you bring the FBI up here with threats on her life? Women walk up. He knows she's being drugged, being raped, and he said he didn't care. I had lost 18 pounds. Bruises all over me, severely infected, and my heart is dropping into my stomach. Is that what's going on? I go in and I sit down. They follow me in and sit down. He knows she's being drugged, being raped, and he said he didn't care. If she was going to be faking she was sick and faking she got well, that family was grieving. Strangest line when it was a medication error, and he even knows. Okay? And that was 15 years before, and it was a medication error. And it took me 9 months to get well. He only made up that shitty lie to cover up Tim and Katie's affair. Okay? Strange made it up. It's documented medical malpractice and documented medication errors. Okay? If she was going to be faking she was sick and faking she got well, that family was grieving. He didn't care what they did to her, and he was going to turn her back over to him. Can you imagine an agent saying that? No, I can't imagine a federal police officer saying that. And he said if she was going to insult their women, he didn't care what happened to him. See, that's what that guy said. And see, that's where it goes back to even 2011, 12. People were saying crazy crap while I was going to Blaylock's. And I told you I think it was Leah and Esther sitting behind me. She watches porn laying around playing with herself. I'm like, dear God, who are you talking about? We're in church. She's drunk, drugs, run around the front yard in a bikini. I looked at her and I said, who are you talking about? And I turned around. And they started laughing. It's supposed to be you. I almost started to cry. I'm like, that never happened. I don't even have cable. Stuart Little, too, plays all the time so the babies don't cry. And that's disgusting. And I don't own a bikini and I don't drink and do drugs. And if I'm running around the front yard, it's chasing a toddler. They bust out laughing. They told people I didn't have enough class to dress right. Made fun of my clothes behind my back. Never said it to my face. Told other people in church when they go out to eat with them on Sunday. And all camps. People I hadn't seen. Jim came to church. He said, I work with that English guy. His last name's English. He said, I hear all day long how you're drunk and drugs. And you're wild and crazy. I come to church and you're fine. I said, I haven't seen him in 8 years. Ignore him. He's lying. I haven't seen him in 8 years. I went to walk with Frances. What on earth? Why are these people telling stories on me? And she said, well, Mary hates you. And I'm like, Mary hates me. Thinking of all of the people I've seen over the years. I said, I haven't seen her in 8 years. She went, you haven't seen her in 8 years? And she's smiling like the Grinch that stole Christmas. Is that what's going on? What's going on? You don't know? No, what? Never mind. And she started laughing. I hate that game. Okay. I had went to that church from 2003 to 2011. Okay. Went in 2 different services with Dave. People were walking around giving me St. Louis. I'm like, what? Some lady's like, well, I heard you got into it with Katie. I looked at her, I went, I think Dave and I said hi to her twice in the mall. Maybe 3 times, and we were together. She started laughing and went, is that what's going on? I said, what are you talking about? She was acting like the drama queen. Lying. People were being mean to her. I'll tell you what. At one point, people came up and said to me and Dave, I thought you broke up and you were going out with Katie. I said, Dave, you're going out with that girl? And he's like, no. Well, we walk in Macy's. Okay? And I said, Dave, all these people are saying stuff are, you're going out with Katie. We're by the purses in Macy's. He's like, Karen, that girl's pathetic. She's pathetic. She's making up stories that married men will leave their wives to go out with her. She's nothing but pathetic, making up stories like that. Wanting people's attention. He said, and I'll tell you what, I'd rather kiss a cow's butt than that heifer. We're by the purses. I giggle. There's no way in hell she could have her here. She works in Ashcroft and Oak. Down the mall. We're at the end of Macy's. Way inside. And she's down the mall in another store. And he says it just to me, and I giggle. So how would she ever find out unless he told her that he made a mean joke on her, and I dare giggle? Because, see, then that's where the whole thing of it is. Where would I get to be mean to him at? I didn't go to their church. Hadn't been to their church when the case started at 18. For 15 years, went 2 times in 2011. Where would I get their phone numbers? I didn't go to their church. I don't see them. So how could I be mean to them? See, Dave and I talk about it on tape. Well, you know, that church made up filthy stories on me before. And people would laugh at me. And they were dirty stories. And I said, it took me a really long time to find out people were saying stuff about me. Until somebody actually came up and told me what they were saying. I didn't know. Because I didn't see them. I didn't talk to them. And I didn't go to their church. So they could run their mouth about me. And I would never know it. See, that's where my niece Heather, they made up a bunch of lies on her. And she looked at me one time and she said, you know, they will learn. It's wrong to lie on people. You know, I told my son Danny what they were saying. He, you know, about the drugs and the bikini. And then the porn and da-da-da. He's like, Mom. He said, I teach him for lying. I would have told him, you ruined my marriage. What'd you expect me to do? I'm like, Danny, that's not true. He said, I teach him for lying. I told my ex-sister-in-law, Barb. She said, I would have asked him, what were you doing looking? I'm like, Barb, it's not true. She said, Karen, these people will learn it's wrong to lie on people. And she said, I would have put them in their place. See, that's where people in the case where they photoshopped the washing, the shower scene in the other room to make me look weird on purpose. They said no wonder where they were making that stuff up on her before, that they would Photoshop that. Yesterday, I mean, it was a lot. People, I was in Marshall's, and they were saying they found the tape of the agent admitting he told on her before. And he fed her back to the drug cartel. None of this is funny. I know. It's on a recorded line. He admits to telling on me that he met with the Vegas and the church people several times. And then acted like a crazy occult person. And that he told on me. Huh? You listen, because protected home custody cases are with statements. He has to have the verbal statement. That's where the police officers are. We all know he told on her before. The minute he talked to everyone, he told 500 to 900 people. $500 to 900 people. He was seen witnessed by the police meeting with Dave before he talked to me at Apostolic Church of Bremerton. Dave told Danny he talked to him there. And telling on me before I called him back. And with his own confession on a recorded line, he had met with the church people in the Vegas. Several times he admits it. He told on me that I called the FBI hotline. He embezzled all my money. The police need to arrest him. What should have happened here was Waco. Waco should have happened here. Because can you have somebody stalked? No. It's right on Google. Your spouse can't interfere in your personal and private life. They both get arrested and you sue them. See, as an occult, they don't think women have rights. Are you allowed to have somebody drugged for a fake confession, or is that kidnapping and drug charges and attempted murder? Assault with a deadly weapon. Because it's an injection of drugs. Huh? Are you allowed to be a human trafficker and human traffic people under drugs and leave the poor thing covered in bruises, throwing up, heart racing, and severe personal infection, almost passing out, going to the doctor? I don't know what's wrong with me. I know the well water is dirty. Is it causing this? Because they're amnesia drugs. Are you allowed to drug somebody up and lie you have sodium pentothal reports and the poor thing had been sleepwalking under somebody else's control? It happens all the time. Call roofies. There's a lot of different ones that make you sleepwalk. Now, are you allowed to Photoshop washing in the other room? No. And then try to extort money out of it? No. You go to jail for being a human trafficker. Like outside food time, we heard this whole thing's a drug scam. Nobody say a word. It's a big drug scam from the drug dealers, human trafficking. That means child molesters and serial killers. That's who they hired to drug me up and tell me say stuff, was child molesters and serial killers that were selling and killing the people here in Ohio. And the drug cartel used this as a big pawn to entertain people while they fought over this area. You know, the whole case is them still, it's a real life case of how to get away with murder. March 1st to 15 at 19. They called and told Dave that. It's a real life case of how to get away with murder. They've done all these crimes in front of everyone. And it's ridiculous they made it the first day. Waco should have been here. Selling kitty porn and my grandkids going potty. You know, Dave threatened to kill them all. That agent knew it. He was so mean to me on the phone. I didn't believe it was real. So he told me what office he was in, and when I heard Dave that Dixie and the baby would be next, they teach Josh a lesson for letting him down. They let me down there, and he was so angry he got his hands off, so he couldn't work. And for they have a list, and they'll move on to who they want next. I go to that office, found him. He's got a list I'm working on. And then Dave said, Karen, realize, I'll kill everything you ever loved in life. Realize I'll kill it. Over my dead body. You want me? You can come after me. But you will not touch my children and grandchildren. They played with Josh's vehicles. Josh almost got killed. His car blew up on the highway. Barely got out alive. Couldn't say what happened. Everything was gone. They slashed tires flat and played with the brakes so the tires would explode. Took the lug nuts off so the tire come off while she's driving with the baby. Then re-loosened them again. They played with them hard until I gave up everything. They're planning on doing this more. I wanted them stopped with me so no one else died. That's where the police that work my case, she's amazing. She has no training. And she's lived through all this and got us all kinds of information. See, that's where Officer John, young guy with black hair and glasses, January 19, yelled at Walmart 62. It's ridiculous for any child to be afraid of Karen. She's nothing but good enough. To a little old investigator got in too big a guy's face. I know everything about Karen's life. She's one of the finest women you'd ever meet in life. Don't you ever insult her. Another investigator, October, November 2020, for we all know this woman's innocent. We all do. It's a big drug scam. From the cartel. Everybody turn them in. Do you want them to do it to you? That FBI agent, them walking in and saying they were stalking me, and Dave hired him on his own. He was to arrest them. They had fake sodium pentothal reports. They admitted to drugging me, beating, raping me to a federal cop, and he didn't arrest them. Selling kiddie porn of my grandkids going potty. Sex trafficking videos of me and Dave in bed, and me in the shower. My whole family using the bathroom. And then a sextortion act of photoshopping and washing, and roofied confessions. And he made fun of the victim and acted like a crazy occult person. Like they said, they found the tape of that agent admitting he told on her before. And then they fed her back to the cartel. None of this is funny. Under God's green earth. And to steal money for fucking Savannah? A rich, entitled bitch that fucked a big drug dealer one time and had his kid? Seriously? People that came from a household that make over $300,000 a year, and she probably makes that with her new husband, and they're exploiting people for money? You arrested the psycho bitch, right? Her and her family have been a big part of harassing me. Tell you what, up in Akron, that family was the one paying for a lot of the harassment. Nobody will say a word to you. You know they were stealing. It's them, and they're rich and they're wealthy. See, that's where my one client that lived out in North Canton, his neighbor said that Chris and his gang thought because she had a baby she was poor, and found out how much money that family had. They could go to jail for helping out in this. And they said not to say a word how they found out how wealthy that family is. Pam's an RN nurse. Makes $160,000. Her husband of 30-something years was making at least that, if not more. Was an electrician. Her father owned an electrical company. A small one. Had men working on her. Very wealthy. Came from money. Savannah's an RN nurse. Married to a different man now. Money that makes money. Do you make $300,000 as a couple? Do you? And stealing my little informant money for a rich bitch? That thinks because she fucked a drug dealer, she can have the drug cartel guys? Go in and drug beat, rape anybody? Run a sextortion act, exploit money out of them? You put the psycho bitch in jail, right? And her psycho family? And her, Pam and her granddaughter? Uncle Dave said he had someone tape her before. Oh, people busted out laughing. Her family was linked to that following her ending. Now she wants to say she was in it with David and those stalking tapes? And the extortion plan? You arrested her, right? Because like they said, anybody backs those stalking tapes, they need to go to jail because they already know that everything's drugged and told to say it. And photoshopped everything. That means they were part of Dave trying to kill me and cover it up. My kids defended me. John on Thanksgiving of 18, nobody could ever say anything bad about you, don't worry about it, several times. She's going to have the kids make up something because of divorce, you're going to move out. But trust me, Mom, nobody could ever say anything bad about you. She'll have the church people make up something too. But they talk about Melissa, his ex-wife. And the kids got caught stating on Thanksgiving they made everything up to Florida. They were games to pretend. She'd have the church people make up something too. But trust me, Mom, nobody could ever say anything bad about you. Dave, within a few days, Karen, you're good to the kids, you're good to the grandkids, you never hurt anyone. You're good to everyone, no matter who it is. Huh? Danny, I told him people are saying dirty stuff about me. What? And this is November 13th, 22. Where would they get that? What? Jen's like, anybody said you did anything wrong, they would be a Pinocchio as if. Their pants would burst in flame, Karen. As if you do anything wrong. Went to the grandkids, I've never done anything wrong or bad. That's the truth. Always been good to you. Dave used to laugh. They had me wrapped around their little fingers. They look at you with those big eyes, Karen, and say, Grandma, please. And you'd melt. You're only little ones. Joshy, one time I've never done anything bad or wrong. Never said you did. My whole family spoke very highly of me to the police in 18. It's a big drug scam. And as if that agent didn't know it. And being on a recorded line, he admitted he told over 500 to 900 people. It was over 300 were at Apostolic Church of Rockton. Before he talked to me. Confessed he talked to everyone before me. So that's where people have laughed. We all know he told on her before and then tried to tell her she couldn't say anything, but everybody already knew. Like the prosecutor's office, he was trying to help them get away with this. He thought he was going to steal my money. Stealing from victims. And feeding them back to their drug cartel. I'm going to upload this. But see, that's where their lies are so crazy. They've always been liars, those church people. But then when they involve the cartel, the child molesters, the serial killers, the human traffickers, that's what they are. We put a nice name on serial killers and child molesters. Huh? We put nice names on the worst villains. They hired the human traffickers to drug me and run a drug scam. Beat and rape me for any reason. It's not acceptable. Photoshopping, washing, setting off a hate crime, sextortion. As a society, you acting like assholes and yelling stuff at me. I almost died to save my family. I almost got shot in the head driving. Trying to keep them out of that. Trying to get them enough information so nobody else gets hurt. That's where the police, she's amazing. She has no training. And she's living through all this, getting us information. Like my one friend that worked at the prosecutor's office. You have a lot of great favor with a lot of officers. I almost died to save my family. Huh? And they got thousands of human traffickers off the street. I got a bashed in head. I got raped and tortured by these bastards. I got human trafficked. That's why they look at me like a hero. A guy from the case pulled up here a couple months ago. She deserves a hell of a lot more respect than what these people are giving her. Start turning the bastards in. And that agent stealing, like that from my case, if he stole mine, he stole others. I'll be like Sheriff David, he stole others. The money's for only working the case. He don't have enough authority to ask you to stay quiet. He's just a higher police officer, criminal attorney, prosecutor's office. He's only bullying you. And I said, well, he already confessed that he talked to everyone. It don't matter. He was just bullying you to get away with this. And the police would know it. They need to arrest him. They need to arrest him.